On today's episode of The Unseen World, a unique museum dedicated to aprons. Plus, a look at some gorgeous art at the Gourd place. There is a world all around you, filled with creations that will amaze. A world of destinations that astound. A world waiting to be explored. Come and discover The Unseen World.
I tell people, if you come into the Apron Museum, whatever you think that's going to be, that's not it. Each person has a different life story, and it'll open up to what they want to talk about or their life story. And then we're meeting such a diverse group of people through aprons.
Carolyn and Henry Terry own and operate the Apron Museum in Iuka, Mississippi, in a storefront they bought after Carolyn had a revelation about life.
My dad's side of the family, everybody died young. My father, my grandparents, his sister, his brother, and I'm more like that side of the family. So that was one reason. Had a 17-year-old nephew die, and that's it. I realized you don't have forever, go for it. So that's why I said, when I said we're going to do everything, it was now, today, everything at the same time. I got a better camera, I learned to Google, everything, Ancestry.com, genealogy, everything, a new mower, everything you can think of, we're going to go for it because life is short. So I Googled aprons sort of at the end, and the apron world opened up. And it was just like dominoes or a thread. One stitch led to another, and it's still just going. Now it's worldwide. There was an article that went to 14 million homes.
It was a newspaper insert, and it went to...
Out of Nashville.
Apparently went to small town across the United States.
And I didn't read the articles because I don't do that. And I called my daughter. I asked her ahead of time, does the article look good in the picture? And she said it's okay, and she's real truthful. So I didn't look at it. 3 or 4 months later, the aprons were coming in bins from the post office daily. We had containers. I thought, what did the article say? So I finally read the article. It didn't say send aprons as fast as you can. And from there, we started getting aprons from everywhere with stories, handwritten, beautiful stories of immigrants, a lot of them on beautiful stationery in cursive. So we have a great collection of cursive correspondence on the history of that apron. We started getting so many aprons, so many stories. That's when the museum really opened up at 2011.
The Unseen World will be right back. We now return to The Unseen World.
Apron Museum is something different for everybody. Some of them come in and like to talk about the history. Some of them come in just to look at the aprons. Some of the ladies that will sew or quilt, they like to look at the stitches and the stitch work in the apron.
Oh, it's definitely art. My daughter came up with the tagline, art, fashion, and history. The design of the apron has always followed fashion. Before 1900, they were long. As fashion got shorter, the Roaring 20s, you can see them. The dresses look 1920. They've always followed fashion.
Heyday of the aprons are the
50s.
After World War II. The country was real prosperous.
Everybody had plenty of money, lots of fabric. Women's worth used to be displayed by your cooking skills and your sewing skills. So beautiful aprons really meant a lot. and that's in the language of aprons too. You can tell a man's wealth by looking at the apron, which is, like I said, everything is told in the language of aprons. It tells, looking at the person back prior, their wealth, their skills, their status in society, everything. And now we don't understand why people needed an apron. Fabric was, it was like gold or diamonds. To have a piece of fabric years ago, people had very little clothing. Everything started out just the natural fibers.
We have some aprons in here that we say are examples of the Depression era, and they're just completely worn out, and then they're patched.
And people used to will their clothing items, your bed linens, a few items of clothing, they were willed. I mean, the scarcity of fabric. And like I said, the heyday, people, now no one thinks about, that's why there's not as big a need. We've got washing machines, we've got laundry detergent that removes stains. We didn't have it that easy. So if you did have a garment that was nice, you really had to protect it. I mean, everybody was protecting something real valuable.
For people looking for a home for their valuable aprons in a world that no longer valued them, the Apron Museum has been a blessing.
Probably one thing that's been a common theme on a lot of the donations, they say their children or the grandchildren are not interested in the aprons, and they hate to see them just thrown out or
used as rags.
So they're glad to see a place that's a home for aprons. A lot of the stories that came had that theme in it.
One of the favorite ones is the bunny story. A lady from Florida. She donated, she sent it in, and she said, I have she had several kids, several grandchildren, and might even had great-grandchildren, and nobody wanted her bunny apron. And it was made in, I think, 1934, and she was so old, and she tells who made it. She has all this history, this apron that she loved. Nobody wanted it in the family. And she said, like a miracle, I saw the article in American Profile, and I knew that she had found a home for her bunny apron.
While the museum may be many things to many different people, for Carolyn and Henry Terry, it's been the foundation of their new lives.
I say I came alive at 55. Until then, I was an observer of living in a lot of different places, but not really a participant. People do put off not doing what they really enjoy, or finding that what it is. Or as my son says, early bird gets the worm. You gotta know what is the worm. And it fits in everything I like about life. People, fabric, antique things. It's like everything's incorporated into one good life.
To see the Apron Museum for yourself, first head to Iuka, Mississippi. As their daily hours are subject to change, visit them on social media at facebook.com/apronmuseum or call 662-279-2390 for more information. The Unseen World will be right back. We now return to the Unseen World.
People didn't know what to make of it. It just sounded pretty bizarre.
I enjoy using the Gourd puns. That's one of the fun things for me. So when somebody comes in the morning, I'll say, "Gourd morning." Or when they're leaving, I'll say, "Have a Gourd day." One of those corny things like that. And after a while, I'll say to them, "Now you're gored to death, I can tell."
I'm Priscilla Wilson.
I'm Janice Limburner.
I'm one of the
I'm
co-owners
co-owner of the Gourd Place
in Sawtee, Georgia.
We have a Gourd museum, and we have a main building with Gourd Impressions pottery, which is our main business these days. And then another whole building full of Gourd items that we make and we purchase from other Gourd folks?
Well, it was a long time ago, like 43 years to be exact. My partner, Janice, and I were both school teachers, and one summer between years of teaching, we were just riding around in the country, and she wanted to buy a gourd and make a planter for her mother. But I was the one that when we took them home and started trying to make things from them, said, "This is it, I'm gonna quit teaching and start a gourd business." So I was young enough not to realize what a crazy thing that was to do.
Well, you know, when you're young, you do some crazy things, and we were pretty young. This was 43 years ago, so it didn't seem so scary back then.
For the first 6 or 7 years, 7 years really, we went to craft fairs. We didn't really think about having a shop. Craft fairs were a good way to market the things we were making from gourds because you didn't have to have your own venue. And Janice, because she was still teaching those first couple of years, would go to the craft fairs with me, which made all the difference because it was awkward being a gourd person, you know, and learning how to explain that to people. It was embarrassing. People didn't know what to make of it. It just sounded pretty bizarre. And people locally, you know, they called us the Gourd Girls, and Gourd Girls, ooh, that's kind of weird. But anyway, we grew into it.
We learned some things we can't do very well together, like fold tablecloths and make decisions about how the display is supposed to look. And we had a few arguments along the way, but we also really enjoyed spending time together. And that was part of the appeal, I think, for both of us.
Stay tuned. The Unseen World will return. We now return to The Unseen World. After a few years of going to craft fairs, Priscilla and Janice were ready to make gourds their full-time jobs. They relocated to open their very own gourd farm and shop. But neither Janice nor Priscilla had any farming experience.
We rented 2 acres of farmland. We were basically city girls. We knew nothing about farming. We rented these 2 acres of farmland, and it's one of those things that's funny when you look back on it, maybe not so much at the time because the weeds were terrible, and we did not do well. I'll just put it that way. We didn't do well at first.
We had never planted anything, and so learning to grow gourds was quite interesting. We did rely on a lot of the local farmers to help us with that. Eventually, we bought our own tractor, though, and used to fight over who got to drive the tractor.
All the years when we were farming and we would ask local farmers to plow for us and all that sort of thing. We had some nice friendships with local folks who didn't know and didn't want to know. They just insisted on believing we were sisters, even though we told them repeatedly that we weren't. So we had lived in this area for many years in the closet, and finally it was thanks to Janice's church, Nakuchi Presbyterian Church here in Sawtee, that we made more of a public coming out.
We have a very wonderful church community that I became involved in and even taught Sunday school in, and eventually was asked to serve on the session as an elder in this Presbyterian church. I became aware that it was not okay to serve as an elder and to be a lesbian. And so I was conflicted with what to do, and eventually I told the rest of the elders in my church that it was a problem and I would have to resign. And they said, no, we're not going to allow that. We want you to serve. However, it was not possible at the time. They allowed me to stay on in a way, without actually being out of the closet. But we began to study the issue at the church, and that was when it became easier for me to talk about it. And Priscilla was right there with me. And so we had many times panel discussions or times when we went to other churches to talk about being closeted in the church.
So by the time Janice's church began wanting to study the issue, we were way past ready to come out, and we had an incentive, and it was very satisfying to finally be ourselves in our community. Yeah.
Times have changed, and for the better, and so it's not as difficult these days, and I'm thankful for that.
Today, their main source of income is Gourd Impressions pottery, a technique Priscilla invented.
I tell people, we have a lot of people that want to copy the pottery, but we're not worried about it because you really have to be a gourd artist and a clay artist to know how to cut the gourd to serve as the mold you want and how to clean it out without damaging these beautiful textures inside. So once I've prepared the gourd mold, I pour it full of liquid clay. The pottery term for that is slip. I pour it full of liquid clay and let it cast for hours, and the wall of a pot begins to form inside the gourd, and that pot will have the texture from the inside of the gourd on the outside of the pottery. So it's been a wonderful experience learning and figuring out how to do this, because I did not know anything about clay when I started. Out of the blue, it hit me over the head. Well, really, I saw pictures in my mind of pouring clay into a gourd. It was kind of weird. I was driving alone in the car, and I said to myself, what a weird idea, you know, but I became obsessed with it. Somehow I knew this was going to be it. So it took me almost a year to figure out how to do it successfully. And a few years later, we had a patent, and it really has been the thing that has saved our business. What really appeals to me about it, too, is the fact that it's functional. The gourds have always been fun, but the pottery is stoneware, so that means it goes in the microwave, the oven, the dishwasher. So it's something we can offer to people which is functional. They use it in their daily lives. People think when you're my age and you've been an artist for all these many 43 years, you think, well, aren't you getting tired, or aren't you running out of ideas? But the truth is, I think, for me at least, I've learned to be more open to new ideas and to enjoy the challenge of developing new ideas. I think all artists have that fear, that what if I make something and just, no, people don't like it. Sometimes you show a new thing, you're all excited about it, you show it to someone, and it falls flat. And that can be crushing. But I think you have to have the confidence sometimes that something's a good idea, even if you don't get immediate response from people. And that's just an instinct, I think, that artists develop. And by golly, if nobody likes it but I do, there's a certain amount of making art for one's own satisfaction, I guess.
It's not ever been easy financially, but it's been a gourd life, you know, and so it's worth it to us to do what we want to do, to be able to be out front with what we enjoy. And so, yes, it's been difficult, but it's really been worth it.
The Gourd Place is located in Sawtee, Nacoochee, Georgia. For business hours and more information, visit gourdplace.com or call 706-865-4048. The Unseen World will be right back.
good.